or we produce evil. Our actions, one way or another, come up out of what we treasure. It's so important for you to know that according to God's word, that's how you operate. Whether you've ever noticed it, labeled it that way, thought much about it in the first place, it's true. And it's not just important to know that you work like this, just as it's important to know you need oxygen and protein and 7 or 8 hours of sleep to function. It's important to know what your heart treasures, not just that your treasure leads to your behavior, but then to work upstream and think about, what does my heart actually treasure that's leading to the behaviors that I see in my life? One of the most important things for your growth as a Christian is to know, what am I tempted to treasure and what behaviors is it producing? That's going to change as your life changes. You want to know where you are now. I think a good homework assignment from this sermon would be to spend some time thinking about that. What is the fruit in your life saying about the treasure in your heart? There's a question. Let me push it a little bit further. Maybe think about an area of your behavior where you long to see change. I bet you've got one. Where do you long to see change? Think of something really specific. And then ask, what treasure in my heart is producing this behavior in my life? What does my heart want so that I'm doing what I'm doing? Another reason it's so important to know and understand what Jesus is telling us here about ourselves is that once you know what needs to change, you need to know that you can't experience any real change, any lasting change, without addressing what's going on in your heart that's leading to the behavior you want to get rid of. What you treasure drives what you do. If you want to do different, you need a different treasure. Paul Tripp, in that same book, he compares change, so many of our efforts to change our lives, to taking apples and stapling them onto the branches of trees that are dead or not meant to produce apples. For a hot minute, you look at that tree with apples stapled all over it, and it looks like a healthy apple tree. That fruit is already dead on the vine. That tree has not changed its character. That fruit isn't going to last, and no more is coming, not unless you just keep stapling it on. You won't experience change unless you go to the source of behavior in the first place. And you need to know, what in my heart is driving what I'm doing? How can I address my treasure as a way to address my behavior? All of which brings me to point number 2, the question. The question that Jesus is meaning to set up for us in this passage. Do you